welcome to RUNMUMS. I'm Vanessa, and today I'm going to be giving you some top tips on helping you run our RUNMUMS Couch to 5K week 2 of 8. If you need to catch up on other weeks, then subscribe to our YouTube channels for weekly updates and top tips. So I'm going to talk about week 2 of our Couch to 5K program today. If you've missed week 1 or any other weeks, then you'll need to visit our YouTube channel to catch up, and I'll give you some useful running tips, which will be different every week. So before I move into our Couch to 5K week 2 program, I'm going to give you some top tips on planning where you're going to run. So firstly, check your run. So first, stick your run in your diary, and that way you're more likely to stick to it. If you're lucky enough, then walking straight out your front door and running is obviously the most convenient. You can run anywhere as long as it's safe and enjoyable to do so. So the best running routes I find are scenic and free from traffic. I do prefer the trails because they're softer than the roads, and certainly more scenic. But you just need to ensure you're safe, basically. So think about where you want to run, and remember, pavements are going to be harder on the joints, so perhaps you may be more susceptible to injury. Trail running is softer on the joints, but you just need to watch out for those tree stumps, or the terrain can be a little bit more technical. But I quite like that, it gives you something else to think about. You may perhaps have a beach on your doorstep. Just remember that can be quite hard to run on as well, so a little bit more challenging. But you also maybe prefer to run indoors. It could be raining outside, so you may prefer the treadmill if you've got the option to do so. I like to think of running as a way to explore new territory, a new adventure, and I absolutely love taking the other run mums or my run buddies out on their new adventures as well. I like to take them somewhere different. So just think of it different. Think of it as a way of exploring. And talk to other runners about their running routes, because the more varied your routes, the easier that running is going to feel, and you're just going to enjoy it more. You could even join a running club, or perhaps run with a running buddy, which is what I do. I make a point with my running buddy, and we sort of obviously rely on each other. But always remember, key is consistency. Key to running is consistency. Much better to get out there 3 times a week. So let's move on to week 2 of our Couch to 5K program. And remember, each week is on our YouTube channel, so you need to look at any other weeks, then you'll find our updates and top tips on there. But whatever week you're on, you'll always start off with that 5 to 10 minute gentle warm-up walk before moving into your run-walk combination. In week 2, you'll start off with a run for 2 minutes. When that run interval is over, then you'll walk for 1 minute to recover. Once recovered, you're going to repeat that sequence again. So you're going to run for 2 minutes and then walk for 1 minute to recover. And you need to repeat that sequence 7 times in that one session. So run for 2, walk for 1, repeat it 7 times. And we've talked about ways of recording that. You could write it on your hand, or you could put it on your Tabata. We've talked about recording it on Strava, and we covered all that in the previous session. So hopefully you get the idea. Then you'll need to repeat that session 3 times in a week, allowing for a recovery day in between. And I've talked about the importance of recovery again in the previous session. So 3 times a week you need to do that. And when you finish, it's always important to cool down, bring your heart rate down. This way, this could just be done by just a simple walk, but also finish off with that 5 to 10 minute stretching program. I'll be posting week 2 session within our community group after this, so don't worry if you can't remember it, but hopefully you get the idea. Our plans are also available within our file store on our community group on Facebook and free to download from our RUNMUMS shop. So our virtual Couch 5K course is free, but you do have the option to join our virtual challenges and receive one of our, I'll show you here, beautiful medals. So, which is, I'll just show you a sample of a few of them. Of them there, that's the spring one. There's a summer one, and we have an autumn one, and we'll have a winter one. They'll be coming soon, and just a couple of other ones that we have available throughout the year as well. So also with them, with the medals, you've got a finishing certificate to download. You get a race babe, you get a Hall of Fame. So if you're interested in receiving one of those, because it perhaps might help keep you motivated, then as I previously mentioned, they're available from our RUNMUMS shop, and all the information is on there regarding that. But they run walk distances from 5k, 10k, half marathon, a marathon, or you can do distance challenges ranging from 50 miles to 400 miles, which is over a period of time. So perhaps something just to keep you motivated there. So before I go, I'm just going to open up now to the group for questions. So I'll just hang on, see if there's any questions coming through, popping up. What's that? Marie. How do I find time? Oh, good question. Okay. So if you've decided to take on the challenge of that Couch 5K, you're probably making a commitment to becoming more active. And this is great, and it is important, it's important for your health, but making a change like this does require effort and dedication. And like I said before, consistency is key. So when you decide to start on that Couch 5K, you need to examine all them potential barriers that could get in your way and work out in advance how you're going to deal with them. And once you've done that, you can start to commit some time. And I would put that time in your diary, or have a chart on the wall. You could even put some reminders up on your fridge. So, them sort of things that will a little reminder you of the benefits, why you're doing it. Anything like that might trigger you. I'd also, like I said before, recommend persuading a friend or a relative to get involved too. For me personally, a running buddy or a group of friends can really help. And again, that's what I do. And that's really important. Family members need to be supportive too, so that's really important. And that can be difficult. Perhaps you're juggling a small family, or one of you, or perhaps even both of you are working, and you're trying to get out that door for a run. But it really is, it's really important. But it's really important to find that time, and you'll be a better person for having done it. But yeah, I'm quite dedicated. I do try to go early in the morning. Because I work as well, so I try and get that out first thing. And sometimes it might just be a quick 5k, but I do try and do one longer run in the week. But that's just me personally. But yeah, it does take dedication and commitment. Let me just see, Andrea, what time would I run? Like I just said before, I like to run in the morning, as it reduces a number of other commitments that might affect my exercise time, such as work commitments, family time, but it's basically whatever suits you. Remember, consistency is key. Most Couch to 5K training plans are set 3 times a week, so set your running days as your same days, then you're more likely to stick to it. And what evidence does suggest that, we've talked about me running in the morning, but evidence does suggest that morning exercises have a higher consistency rate and ultimately a higher success rate. Another top tip is when you get up in the morning, put your running gear on. as you're kind of that one step closer, if you like, to getting out there. And just don't overthink it. Just don't overthink it. Sometimes you spend more time thinking about it than actually doing it. So just do it, and you will feel definitely better for it. Julie, is it normal to feel pain during running? Oh, okay. So some discomfort is normal as you add distance and intensity to your training, but real pain isn't normal. If you sometimes feel, if sometimes it feels so bad that you have to run with a limp or otherwise alter your stride, you're probably injured. So if that's the case, stop running immediately, take a few days off, and if you're not sure, try walking for a minute or two to see if the discomfort disappears. And if it doesn't disappear, consult your GP or physio. But I'll cover more on injuries in another session, because obviously it's quite a big subject. But it is, however, important to accept in advance that you will encounter some setbacks in your Couch to 5K journey, or any running journey for that matter, and you might have a hectic week at work, be away from home, or even experience injuries or illness. So, but if you feel under the weather, particularly if you have a temperature or an injury, do not run. But setbacks are not failures, remember that. Everyone has setbacks, even me. Just don't give up, it doesn't matter. As long as you get back on the programme when you're fit and well to do so. And it might be that you need to revisit those SMART objectives that we've discussed in previous sessions. So, what next? This will be the last one, and then we'll call it a day for that one. Nicola, I always feel out of breath when I run. Is something wrong? So, some runners, especially at first, find it difficult to regulate the breathing. It's something I get asked all the time. But you know, when you first start out, and as you know, running will cause you to breathe harder than usual. And so some amount of huffing and puffing is normal, because it takes a while for your cardiovascular system to catch up when you first get into running. Most of the out of breath feeling diminishes as you become fitter, or as you move further into your programme. But when you breathe, try and breathe from deep down in your belly, or what they call diaphragmatic breathing, which I'll cover in another YouTube channel. But if you have to, slow down or take walking breaks, but it will get easier. But I will word of caution, if that breathlessness does persist, then perhaps you need to speak to your GP, potentially around the possibility of asthma. Also worth noting, your breathing will be affected by your running form, which I'll be covering in next week's session. So week 3 of the Couch to 5K programme on YouTube, I'll be just talking about running form. So finally, before I go, don't forget to use our virtual community groups to perhaps comment on your journey, talk about what week you're on, what are you enjoying the most, any part you're struggling with, and we'll try and answer any of your questions. That way, as a group, be able to provide you with the necessary motivation and support throughout your Couch to 5K journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications when we upload new videos like this. We are all virtually supporting one another. You really can do this. Believe in yourself, ladies. And just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Remember, the first step out of the door is always the hardest, but always remember how amazing you feel afterwards. You really can do this. Thank you.